Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is GMOs. If you know anything about me, if you've seen some of my videos, I've been on the GMO crusade since 1998. I used to go to farmers markets in Colorado and get people to sign petitions just to label our food. Just tell us what's in our food. We want to know. We have every right to know what we're eating and putting into our bodies. But in America, you don't have that choice when it comes to genetically modified foods. Now, I'm not here to say genetically modified foods are good or bad, because you can make your own decision upon that. It doesn't take too much research to go find all the negative effects of GMOs or the lack of long-term studies. But that being said, just let me know that I can make my own choice. But it's you know, there are some labels out there like the non-GMO project that will label things non-GMO, right? But these companies have to pay to do this, and they have to get their food tested, when it should be the opposite way around, just like organic. If you're doing organic food, you should not have to pay for it. If you're spraying chemicals, you should have to pay a license to spray chemicals. You should have to have a chemical handler certificate, a chemical handler's license, a pesticide license. And you should put that on your label, that you're certified to spray a pesticide. Not that you're certified not to spray a pesticide, it just doesn't make sense. It's the guy who wants to do something right is the one who has to pay the extra fees. It doesn't make sense. So, Chipotle Mexican Grill announces that they have plans to go GMO-free. And I've got to tell you, as a restaurateur and a chef, this is an extreme challenge. It is a major, major challenge. Okay? Because there's no guarantees, first of all. You cannot guarantee that you're not serving a GMO unless you test every single batch of food that comes in. You can test bigger batches and get certified from the non-GMO project. Or you can buy things that just they don't genetically modify to begin with. There's a lot of items they don't genetically modify, but there's also a ton of items that they do genetically modify. So things like soy, corn, cottonseed, milk. So all kinds of dairy products have bovine growth hormone in it. Yeast is genetically modified. Papayas, the zucchini. The list goes on and on of all these things that are mustard seeds. You might think you're eating a fancy French mustard, when in reality it's being made from GMO seeds. All kinds of crackers, all kinds of breads usually have cotton seeds, canola, or soy oil in it, some kind of combination of those. So anytime you see a bread item, a cracker, a tortilla, it's just insane. I go to a lot of food shows. Sorry, I'm drinking a smoothie here. And I see the food, I read the ingredients. I'm one of the only chefs that goes through and that examines. I'll pick something up and I'll sit there and I'll read and I'll read and I'll read, and the reps and brokers are like, what are you looking for? I'm making sure the product's a clean product, making sure there's no GMO items in there. And I'm like really the only chef who does this, because they're like really shocked. Sometimes they can hold a conversation with me, very rarely. Most times they're like, oh, I don't know if it's GMO, I don't know this or I don't know that, you know? But you have to check every single thing. Like, for example, if you're buying chocolate, right? Chocolate sweetened. Well, is this sugar from GMO sugar beets? This is something you never even think about as a restaurateur, right? As a restaurant. But the ingredients that we were buying, these rice crackers at one point, that one of the oils in there was questionable. I said, I totally got rid of it. Now we pay twice the amount for a much better quality rice cracker. But you know, in the beginning when you start and buy things, you're just like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, unless you sit there and analyze it. So most chefs have no clue, right? They have no clue of what they're serving, nor can they guarantee, nobody can guarantee, but nor can they even communicate on an intelligent level, because they have no clue. Tom Colicchio, when he announced a couple years ago, the Environmental Working Group sent out an email to all their subscribers saying, Tom Colicchio wants you to have your right to know. You should know what's in your food. He supports GMO labeling. He's going to Congress to speak up for GMO labeling. So 2 weeks later, I was at one of his restaurants. I'm like, oh, are you guys like GMO-free? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I showed them this email from that had Tom Colicchio's face on it, his quote from the Environmental Working Group. And I'm like, he's a big advocate for non-GMOs, so I'm assuming that you don't use any GMOs here. Was I ever wrong? They had no clue. They had no clue what I was talking about. In fact, when we're going through some of the ingredients, a lot of the stuff was suspect GMOs in Tom Colicchio's restaurant. And here's one of the leading chefs in the country, and he's advocating to label our food, but yet in his own restaurant, he's not doing it. They had no clue. They were using canola oil, they were using soy oil, they were using sugar, they were using ketchup, they were using corn syrup and all their sodas on the gun. The list was growing and growing. I'm like, man, this is crazy. This chef is crazy. You know, who's he fooling? He's fooling most Americans, and just like the Monsanto's fooling most Americans. So just, here's my thing, just label our food. Congratulations to Chipotle. I think it's a huge undertaking. I want to make the definition or make the clarification that just because a company is GMO-free doesn't mean their food is chemical-free, or doesn't mean it's healthy, or doesn't mean it's organic. So don't confuse that at all. The word, if something's GMO-free, it can still have pesticides, it can still have all kinds of things, it can still be non-organically produced, okay? Super important to know that. GMO does not mean it's a clean product as far as that. It just means it hasn't been had the biotech technology added to it. So congratulations to Chipotle. I think more restaurants need to do this. I think it's a great move. I think hope this gets a lot of publicity. I hope it spurs conversation with people, and people say, oh, what are GMOs? Let me do some research and find out just what they're putting into their bodies. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. Thanks for watching this video. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.